What's up, guys? Today we're going to do a 10-minute, no equipment required legs workout. Now, I know I talk mostly about mindset on this channel, but if you can train your body and train your mind, that's when you become unstoppable. So here's how this workout will work. We'll do an exercise for 45 seconds, then take a 15-second rest. We'll repeat that for 10 sets to make 10 minutes. Before we start, don't just sit there and watch me. Work out with me. So let's get to it.
The Irish thing is to get into a trade straight away. I was no different. As soon as I finished school, I was always getting pestered. What are you doing with your life? You're doing this, doing that. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what MMA was. They didn't know what none of this. They didn't know I could make a career out of it. As far as they were concerned, my man and dad I'm talking about, as far as they were concerned, I was just getting into a cage and fighting with some other guy. They didn't know nothing about it. No one did, really. But I knew, you know what I mean? I knew. But and then I ended up getting a trade just to keep them quiet. I lasted 18 months doing it, but it was tough, you know what I mean? It wasn't the life for me, you know what I mean? And then John said, because I was training with John as well at the time, and then John got in touch and says, I have a show, I'm running a show, I'd like to fight on it. And then that was it. I just packed it in, didn't show up. My dad used to come in and punch the head out of me and like try and drag me out of bed, and I just wouldn't go, you know what I mean? I had an uproar for a good few years with him over it, and that was it. I just packed it in, quit, and then focused on training. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. It was a lot of stressful years, you know what I mean? A lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right.
So a lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
It doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. If you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that, right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, you know, if I fail today, okay, I'm gonna learn something from that failure, and I'm gonna try again on Tuesday. If I fail, I'm gonna try again on Wednesday. So it doesn't exist.
I'm real critical of myself. I believe I can't improve unless I want to improve. And ultimately, I want to become the greatest basketball player or the best player LeBron James can be. Now, if that means I've become better than Michael Jordan or better than Kobe Bryant or Oscar Robertson, then so be it. But if not, I want to maximize my potential.
I think of myself as the greatest person that I can be. That's it. I'm not going to go out out on a limb and say I'm the greatest this or that. I was a kid with a dream, that's it. And I was a little kid that wasn't afraid to dream as big as I could. And that's really it. Like you said, like we were talking before, I was dedicated, I was hardworking, and that put me in the shoes where I am now.
I grew up, I wasn't the richest, but I had a rich family in spirit and in support. And standing here with 19 championships is something I never thought would happen, I went on the courts with just a ball and a racket and a hope, and that's all I had. And it's inspiring for all you guys out there that want to do something and want to be the best that you can be and want to do the best that you can do. You just never give up, because you never know what can happen. You never know who you can inspire and who you can influence.
Because I love doing it. I mean, it's that simple. You have to sit and ask yourself what is truly going to get you up in the morning, what's going to keep you up at night. And when you find what that answer is, you stay true to that.
I'm enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Nobody works harder than me inside the octagon, outside the octagon. I am a workhorse, so I'm going to enjoy the benefits of this life. I'm going to get myself a big mansion in Las Vegas. I'm going to get the soft top cars. I'm going to bring my whole team out. I'm going to spoil them and give them this life. Big steaks that size, we're eating every single night each. We're eating good, we're living good. It's human nature. Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is for sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. If you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. You truly believe in it. If you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality.
I wanted to do something that nobody had ever done before. And that started with a dream and a goal. I wanted to be the greatest of all time. I went 5 straight years without missing a single day of workout, 365 days a year. Every single day I was in the water. There are days you're not going to want to do it, sure, and everybody has those days. But it's what you do on those days that help you move forward.
You know, sometimes I think, you know, even for myself, it's easy to become distracted a little bit and start trying to look at what the final picture is going to look like. And, you know, when you do that, you can easily become frustrated with where you are at the moment. So, you know, my advice is just to focus on each day. And, you know, you have a plan in place of how you want to improve and how you want to get better. And you stick to that plan and trust the fact that, you know, every day that you stick to the plan, it'll get you to your end result.
You stare at your past and you'll end up staying there. It's okay to look back and admire it, but you carry on. I'm not in the business of staring back at it. You know what I mean? And getting lost back there. People say a loss can make or break a fighter, but trust me, a win can also make or break a fighter, because they get comfortable with a win. People can get comfortable with a win, and slack off then. Slack off on the training. Slack off on the diet. They've won one. They're winners now. That's not me. You know, you sleep on a win and you'll wake up with a loss. So I just carry on.
You know, if you want to do something and you want it that bad, you'll make sacrifices. And you know, growing up for me as a kid, I made a lot of sacrifices that I didn't seem that they were a big deal, and I don't think of them as being a big deal right now. You know, there were Saturdays or Fridays where, you know, I'd give up going to a dance or hanging out with my friends because I had workout the next day. But those things that I gave up, you know, were things that I wanted to help me get to my goal.
And sure, we're tired. It's been a long season, but mentally we have a vision. We have a finish that we have to attain. You know, and sometimes you have to do it when you're old and you're tired. You know, and I think it's the test of your will to succeed when you have to deal with some of these negatives.
A good fight is to be diligent and committed and disciplined, doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it. You know, always testing yourself and forcing yourself to the limits. You know what I mean? That's what success in general is all about, sacrifice.
A lot of fighters now, when they come up to me about the promotions, everyone, we want a new car, we want a house, we want an apartment. They want everything, but they don't really want to put in the work. And I got to where I got to by putting in the work, sacrificing a lot of things. We want what Floyd got. We want a private jet. We want Bugattis. We want mansions in New York, LA, Vegas, Miami. This took years and years and years of hard work.
Sports is a tool that teaches, you know, and it teaches you bad things. It can also teach you good things. It's how you perceive those things. I've looked at every experience that I've had, negative and positive, and taken that as a positive. You know, if I wouldn't change anything, because I think it would alter some of the other things that happened. You know, so when I look back, I can't say that I've had any bad things happen. Sure, I mean, you don't want bad things to happen, but you deal with bad things. You can't have good or without bad.
What's your mindset? Is it to improve, or is it just to keep winning? Or because it's, personally, I found it very difficult at some point.
Yeah, no, for me, it's always to improve. And I've had some tough losses this year, but those losses, I think, were necessary, and they helped me to work on my game. It forced me to see that I need to get better at this, I need to get better at this and this, and now I've gotten better at it.
I never feel that I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent as a role model in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved.
And I was a little kid that wasn't afraid to dream as big as I could. And that's really it. Like you said, like we were talking before, I was dedicated, I was hardworking, and that put me in the shoes where I am now.
That is not easy, man. But the goal is greatness. The goal is greatness.